Hello and welcome to Deep Cuts the Game, the movie trivia podcast where I give my three contestants three different movies and they try to come up with the most random, obscure, or minor actors they can think of. I did fuck it up, Alex. I'm your host, Jeff Penn, and with me as always, the third member of Tegan and Sarah, Alex Young. Welcome to the show, Alex.
Oh, God, that would be a dream. It's not even an insult. I would love that.
Sometimes they're not insults, Alex. Sometimes they're just nice things about you.
They're never nice things about me, but it's weird that you think sometimes they are compliments. Anyway, how are you?
Right. I'm good. It's October, and we talked previously how October is your favorite season. Even though it is just a month in the year, you consider it its own season.
It is, because I'm right.
What have you been doing? You've been picking apples? What's your thing?
No, you know I'm not an outdoorsy person. I like it from afar. I like it from inside or like with a jacket. I'm not gonna go outside and touch grass and be one with nature. That's a terrible time. But I did ask you. I gave you homework this week to come up with some Halloween or horror recommendations for people who like want to watch some movies, but that aren't the recommendations you always get, like Exorcist, The Shining, Alien, like all those kind of like standards. Because you and I tend to watch some different things. We might even have some crossover on these. So I'm curious, Jeff, what were some horror recommendations you got for myself and the world?
The world, the 38 people who listen to us. Yes. So I tried to think about this a little bit because you're right. Like, I would say of my top 10 favorite films of all time, I would very comfortably put Jaws, The Exorcist, and I would consider Silence of the Lambs a horror / thriller film. And it's scary enough on its own. I would put those in my top 10. But of the lesser kind of known ones, I mean, you're much more into the indie unknown horror films because you're on Shudder all the time watching stuff there. But I would say something like It Follows.
It Follows is great.
It Follows is great. I mean, most people have seen Barbarian by this point, but if you haven't seen Barbarian, definitely watch Barbarian. And you know what? It's old and you make fun of it, but go back and watch Phantasm because I think it's just a beautiful movie. Like, I love Phantasm.
Here's the thing about Phantasm. The second one is better. They're basically the same movie?
They're basically the same one because all the good shots in Phantasm 2 are just ripped off from Phantasm 1.
Yeah, it's all the cars blowing up.
Yeah.
I'll give you Phantasm, but I'm not going to agree with you. Because it's just a silver ball that flies through the air and sticks into people's heads.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
Angus Scrimm is awesome in it, but that movie isn't good.
Boy.
So I ran through like a short list, and I didn't get like too deep into like really obscure, kind of like, oh, this 1956, whatever. Like, I'm not going to be that guy. But the oldest one on my list, which is Canadian, and I recommend this all the time, is The Changeling. With classic Scream Queen, George C. Scott. I love that movie. There's also one from 2001, 2002 that I love a lot. One is The Eye. It's a Thai film directed by the Pang brothers. It got remade in 2008, I think, with like Jessica Alba. Don't see that movie.
Yep.
The original one is about a woman who gets a corneal transplant, and she gets the eyes of like a psychic, and then she can see ghosts and stuff, but doesn't know that it's weird. Because she hasn't been able to see.
She's never seen anything before.
So there's super scary shit around her, and she's like, "This is just what life is like," and it's very unnerving. Pulse, the Kiroshi Kurosawa film that you do not love.
I don't. I thought it was terrible.
Yeah, you hated it. I love that movie. I think it's super scary. And then two more recent ones: Talk to Me, which I think you saw.
Yep, I didn't mind that one.
Huge fan of that movie. Really upset me in the best way. And Black Phone, which I think you liked as well.
I did like Black Phone.
Which is surprisingly fun.
I tried watching the other night on Netflix. I think it's called What's Inside.
Oh, yeah. The Netflix original?
The Netflix original. It was like they took Bodies, and took all the fun out of it and just made everyone really shitty. Like, you know how like Bodies, you kind of hate everyone, but at least Lee Pace is there. And you're like, he's okay.
Pace. We love Lee Pace.
Yeah, but this movie has none of that. And then I did watch, and I will recommend this to everyone to not watch this movie, is it I Saw the Glow of the TV, or I Saw the TV Glow, the one with Justice Smith. That is a hot pile of garbage.
I like that movie a whole lot.
Why? It's not scary.
You often ask me that, and I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you.
Okay,
why I
but just like his whole
movie, I liked it a lot.
It was terrible. It wasn't scary. his voice
Was
that
it
he's doing the
supposed to
whole
be
film.
scary?
It was considered a horror.
I mean, in no way.
And his voice,
movie.
the whole movie, that then she came home and I didn't know what to do. And I was like, oh, just shut up. Just stop
That did
talking.
not bother me either. I like that movie a lot. I was really into it.
It ended and I was like, that's it? It seemed like a really bad version of, what's that show that was on Shudder? It was like
the Channel Zero.
Channel Zero. Yeah. And they ripped off that whole idea of like a TV show that people remember from when they were kids. And there was the teeth monster. And I was like, that was scary. This thing was nothing.
This thing was nothing.
It was nothing.
Jeff's review of I Saw the TV Club.
Yes. Well, let's stop talking to ourselves. We have two other much more interesting people with us today, Alex. Coming back for her third appearance on Deep Cuts the Game, the podcast, Hilary Conahan. Hilary, welcome back.
Hi, thanks for having me back. I'm so excited.
We have a limited number of female players, Hilary, and so it's always good to get them back in the show. No,
you gotta hit your quotas.
Actually, Hilary, I look at our numbers, and for whatever reason, maybe you just tell more of your friends about it, but your episodes are usually among our highest listened to episodes.
Wow.
So you must just be getting the word out there to your friends.
Yeah, I don't tell that many people.
And then, okay, so I wrote up an intro for our next guest because I usually do one for their first time on. So let's see. All right. So today on Deep Cuts the Game, we're joined by a man whose love for movies runs so deep, he's practically lived through every decade in cinema without aging a day. As the host of NICKFLIX, he spends his time dissecting films like a mad scientist, connecting themes so obscure you think he'd seen more flicks than we've had hot dinners. From guilty pleasures to blockbusters, if it's on film, he's got a hot take. So please help me in welcoming Nick Mear to the show, the host of NICKFLIX Podcast. Welcome to the show, Nick.
Thank you. Your intro is way better than my actual podcast, so that's I need to up my game now because that was a great introduction.
Well, I just got to say thank you, ChatGPT, for writing all my intros for me for the rest of the time. No,
like, this loser watches a lot of movies and did a podcast about it.
Yeah, someone sent me a thing today, a person who's been on the show, and it was just like a cartoon from like the New York Times or something like that. And it was just this guy talking to this girl, and he's like, no, so my podcast is me and a buddy talking about like movies all the time, but sometimes like we make jokes. And I was like, oh, fuck. Shit.
Yeah.
That is us. So Nick,
I was just surprised there was no NICKFLIX podcast available when I first thought of like, what could I call it? There was someone had a YouTube channel, NICKFLIX, but it wasn't like, I was like, okay, as long as I throw a podcast, we're good.
So I notice a lot of your stuff, you talk about like what's next in the queue and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So do you go all the way, like your Netflix history? Do you go back to when the movies were coming in on DVD? Like, is that how far back you go?
No, that's actually the funny thing about my name is I actually don't really care for Netflix all that often. Because someone one time, a guest was like, oh yeah, this podcast, he talks about everything on Netflix. And I'm like, well, yeah, my name's a little misleading. I just talk about movies if they happen to be on Netflix. But it was like, how could I throw my name in the title? And a few people who I got to go on their podcast were like, what about like mixing it with like a streaming service? I'm like, oh, Netflix, NICKFLIX. And my wife, when we dated years ago, she used to joke when she'd borrow a DVD, she'd go, oh, it's my NICKFLIX account. So she gets credit for that.
Perfect.
But yeah, but I do remember doing that with Netflix. But it wasn't like, I like love Netflix and I was like, I'm going to make a podcast for it. It just happened to have my name. So
I do appreciate a good pun. So
yes.
Honestly, great work.
Thank you. And as a father of two, I feel like it's fitting that I have like a semi-dad joke or pun in my podcast title. So it's like I could get away with that.
It was an interesting thing getting your movies in the mail. And by the time you would get it, you'd be like, I'm not in the mood to watch this anymore.
Because at least renting a movie, you'd go there, pick it up with the intention of, I'm gonna
watch this tonight.
Unless you're my sister who had Family Video, like a shelf of, oh no, I forgot to return these. I'm like, why don't you just buy the movie then? Because what you pay in late fees, she used to all the time. I'd be like, you got a new movie? She's like, no, I forgot to return it. So I own it now. But yeah.
That is essentially how I saw Seven Samurai the first time. In high school, I had a teacher who was like also interested in movies and recommending stuff. And it wasn't Netflix, but it was zip.ca. Jeff, do you remember zip.ca?
I do.
It was very much like a competitor, like the same sort of thing. and he would use his account, rent movies, lend them to me, be like, this has to be back in 3 days. And I'm like, well, I guess that's pressure to watch whatever. So I did that and Cowboy Bebop and like a bunch of other things. It was great. It was a really good service.
I would never trust the student to be like, oh, here, I need you to return this back to me so I don't get charged for it.
Right? And like an unscathed disc. It's like, here, student, it's just in a paper sleeve. Shove it in your backpack. It'll be fine.
Alex, was he like, and you can return it to my place after school if you want?
No, he's a really good dude.
I got a ping pong table and
phenomenal teacher. He was great.
Yeah.
I liked
it was
a lot.
more Dead Poet Society type.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a creepy one.
Well, so we're going to jump into our game. And as I told Nick before, the first thing we do is I ask you to try to guess what movie am I thinking of. So Nick, as our newest player, you get to go first. What movie am I thinking of?
So I did write it down. I put Trick or Treat.
Ooh. Alex loves Trick or Treat, don't you, Alex?
I do. I like that movie a lot.
Okay. It's not, but hey, we're in the realm. Like it is a Halloween kind of based movie, so you could win. You never know. Hilary, what movie am I thinking of?
I'm going to go with The Witches with Angelica Houston.
Wow. Okay. Not that didn't they remade that one, right? With
Yeah.
Anne
Original.
Hathaway?
Original.
Okay. That makes a big difference, Hilary. It does
The
make a
remake
big
is
difference.
garbage.
All right, Alex,
In my opinion.
what is your pick for what movie?
Are you thinking of The Lost Boys?
I am not. All right, so I'm going to show you. I went and grabbed it because I'm very pleased with the copy I have of this movie.
The bootleg.
It's Bubba Hotep, the one that came with like a full Elvis Presley like vest. And also I realized, and that's kind of why I brought up Phantasm, that it's the same director.
Yes.
And
Don
I do
Cascarelli?
Cascarelli or something like that. And I just kind of wish in this movie it was old Elvis fighting Angus Scrim from Phantasm rather than him fighting mummies.
A mummy?
I think that would have been more fun. But it is Bubba Hotep.
What fools? How did we not get that?
How did you not get that? Nick, I'm going to give you first selection. If you would like to go in the first, second, or third spot in guessing films, guessing actors tonight, what spot would you like?
I'll go third.
Ooh. He says he says he hasn't listened, Alex, but I mean, the fact that he took your sacred spot
for all the good spots. So
I use it as like a fantasy draft. I like to go after everyone and then get the loop around. But this is like, okay, if it's a guessing game, I want to go. I don't want to set the table because
no, and you're right. That's why Alex usually takes third. You get a few minutes to kind of think about it, and then you get those two picks. The Witches and Lost Boys.
You made a powerful enemy today, Nick.
Just invite me back on again, though.
Alex, I'm going to let you choose if you want to go first or second. I think Lost Boys is a little closer than The Witches.
I mean, The Witches, I feel like, is a comedy, isn't it? Either way, I'm going to go first. I'll pick first.
Oh, it's not very funny.
Is it? I haven't seen it. It did just get added to the Criterion channel for the month, though, so I might check it out.
Oh, yeah, check it out.
All right, so we got Alex in the number 1 spot, Hilary number 2, and NICKFLIX in the number 3 spot. So this is when I tell you the 3 films that I've selected. It's a little bit of a creature feature for our month of October here. So the first film is from 2007. It is called The Mist.
Oh boy.
The second film, a little bit older, from 1990, Tremors. And from 1993, Jurassic Park. I will tell you, there is one performer who appears in more than one of these movies. If you're able to tell me who that person is, you get the points for both movies that they are in. That's all the hint I'm going to give you. Because sometimes I feel like I give people too many hints. So take a few minutes to think about it. You can write down any names that you might have or just any thoughts.
Does Tremors have a deep cast?
Apparently.
No, not really. I would say The Mist has the deepest cast.
Sure.
Jurassic Park is deeper than you might remember. And Tremors, I mean, if you can remember those people, there's worth a lot of points. There's a lot of points on the board for Tremors. Nick, we give between 1 and 20 is kind of our range.
Okay.
So we kind of figure anything close to double digits in a pick is very good. Last week, Alex, you finished the game with what? 31 points. So you averaged about five around, and you won because it was a difficult one.
That's because everybody else did terribly. It's not because I did well.
Yeah, I was
just did
surprised how
marginally
bad.
less worse.
Yeah, it was Mars Attacks, Megamind, and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Man, Mars Attacks has a stacked cast.
So
like,
deep.
Nobody
So
could remember it.
And Alex, at one point, Alex goes, "Okay, I'm gonna take a big swing here. Is Jack Nicholson in it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he's the goddamn president."
And
he's forever, man.
And he's the oil tycoon guy or whatever.
That's right. Yeah, he's got multiple parts.
Yeah, he's got 2 parts in that.
Yeah, he's the star of the movie. And then when he guessed Jack Black, I was like, yeah, he's got a small role as a soldier. He's like, oh, I thought he was the star of that movie, and I was like, no, he's in it for like 5 minutes. All right,
Who knows this movie?
Alex Young, you are on the clock. What is your first pick in Deep Cuts episode 22?
So, because we've never had Nick on, I don't know how he's going to do. And Hilary always surprises me with being great. So I'm going to go with my deepest cut, which is from The Mist. And that is the kid who plays the Shermanator in American Pie.
Yeah, Chris Owen.
I was going to do that.
I just had it
Couldn't
listed
tell
down
you
as
his name.
Chris Owen, Shermanator. That is what I had listed there. So he is worth 12 points. I believe he's one of the first victims as he goes to like fix the trash compactor or something like that, and he gets ripped under the thing and torn apart.
I don't even remember who he plays. I remember I think he like works in the store.
He's a stock boy at the store, and he's like, I'm brave, I can do it. And they're like, you don't have to. And he gets killed.
I think he's the first one who gets killed where they realize, there's something outside.
Yeah. Chris Owen for 12 points, Alex. Well done. Hilary, not happy with that. Did you have the Shermanator down on your list?
I did not. I'm clinging to Jurassic Park on this one. I've seen Tremors, but like a long time ago. So anyways, sticking with what I know. The owner of Jurassic Park, I don't know his name, but he was also in Miracle on 34th Street.
As Santa Claus.
Yes, that's not a deep cut, but he's in it.
Brother of the very famous nature David Attenborough. It is Richard Attenborough. Hilary for 5 points.
Okay.
5 points.
Let me write that down.
So not bad. It's not a 0.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go with Tremors, and I don't remember his name, but the Asian man who's the grandfather in 3 Ninjas, and he gets killed by one of the Tremors. But I loved that movie growing up, both 3 Ninjas and Tremors. So, but yeah, that's where I remember him from.
He's also in Big Trouble in Little China, and he's in Prince of Darkness as one of the guys. His name is Victor Wong. So he is also worth 12 points for Victor Wong.
Ooh.
I believe he's the one that buys the tremor, like the tentacle, and he's like gonna sell it so you can like take photos with it and stuff like that. So nice, Nick. 12 points. Put you right there next to Alex. You get another pick right now.
Okay, so in The Mist, the actor who plays the old man who makes it to the end, who was in The Green Mile, is probably the movie that I recognized him the most from. Which that ending of The Mist, just it's so good, but it's also like, oh god, that is cruel. Very
all
cruel.
right. So there's a few people. I don't want to give too much away because there's a few of these people that do show up in The Green Mile. I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. He makes it to, I just don't remember his name, but I'm like, I remember him in The Green Mile. And then when he shows up in The Mist, I was like, oh, hey, it's the same guy. Cause I love The Green Mile. That was,
do you remember him in anything else? Like maybe The Walking Dead or anything like that?
I didn't watch The Walking Dead.
I think we're talking about Jeffrey DeMunn.
Jeffrey DeMunn.
Yeah.
It's Jeffrey DeMunn.
So he was in that too. Okay.
Yeah, Jeffrey DeMunn is in everything that. What's this director's name, Alex? That does
Frank Darabont.
Frank Darabont. He's in everything Frank Darabont does. Yes, and he also in that
one of the guards. I think in The Green Mile.
Oh, okay.
He's one of the older guards who's like, this is a bad idea. We shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
He's
the lawyer in Shawshank. Is that right?
Yes, I was gonna link those.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was in that Christmas horror movie we watched, Alex. The one where the guy owns like a toy factory
from like 83 or whatever.
Yeah, and he's got hair, and it's dark hair, and it's very confusing. So Jeffrey DeMunn for 10 points to go along with Victor Wong. That's a very strong start for NICKFLIX.
Yeah,
Hilary, what do you got?
Okay, how deep is Samuel L. Jackson in Jurassic Park?
I mean, he's pretty deep. He's deeper than Richard Attenborough because he.
How did I open with that? How foolish! All right.
Well, nobody
What I get?
took it from you.
Yeah, no. Samuel Jackson for 6 points. Because honestly, if there's a movie that came out in the 80s or 90s, there's a 90% chance that Samuel Jackson was in it at this point,
Very
right?
true.
So well done, Hilary. 6 points for Samuel Jackson. Alex, you get your second and your third deep cuts.
I don't know why you said it like I get it like a cookie, but I'll take it. So I'm going to take one from Tremors because I feel like Nick's going to steal them all. So the closest thing that I have to a deep cut from that is Reba McEntire.
That's not a deep cut at all, Alex.
That's as deep as it gets for Tremors.
All right, Reba McEntire for 5 points.
Okay.
Take it. And then the last significant one that I have in The Mist, everyone's favorite voice actor, and by everyone I mean me, Sam Witwer.
Very nice. Very nice. I was wondering if you would remember that, Alex. He is worth 14 points.
Because he is not in a lot of stuff where it's live.
No, and he's really only in the opening sequence of The Mist as one of the military guys who shows up. They're trying to get out of town, and then they're told that, no, you got to go back in. And then I think they go in the back, and the 3 military guys have committed suicide, if I'm not mistaken. So Sam Witwer,
Darth Maul in Clone Wars and Rebels, and that is the shirt that I'm wearing.
Oh,
anyway,
nice.
Everything's fine.
So 14 points. Nice, Alex. That's a nice comeback after your Reba McEntire deep cut. I'm not sure why you led with that one and then came in with the
because I knew one was going to be better than the other.
Okay.
It's the good news, bad news thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's like an encore situation.
Yeah, you're like,
Yeah, our last thought is like, well, Alex is pretty good at this, and then we look at Reba McEntire for 5 points, and we're like, oh no, he's not. Hilary, you get your third deep cut.
How about Newman from Seinfeld is the bad guy.
Wayne Knight,
Wayne Knight.
worth 1 extra point over Samuel Jackson. He is worth 7 points.
Hey.
Hey.
That's solid, Hilary. That's solid. That's a respectable game you're putting together here. And you know what? There's always a chance that you're going to come up with something big because you usually do that in the last round or something. You come up with something you're like, oh, and you just drop casually.
Or like the daily double. That always surprises me.
Which would be worth quite a few points in this one if somebody got it. Nick, it's your third pick. And then I'll give you guys a breakdown of the score at the halfway point.
okay, so I'm going to go with Jurassic Park and the Hispanic actor who is who, when you first meet the lawyer, who talks about John Hammond, who mentions really briefly about Hammond's kids are getting a divorce, which is why the grandkids are coming. Just seems like they kind of gloss over it really quickly in the movie. But he's in a, I don't know if any of you guys have seen this movie called The Crew with Richard Dreyfuss and Burt Reynolds. It's a parody of like Goodfellow mob movies, but it's them when they're old men living in a retirement home and then missing being gangsters. And he's the kingpin in that movie that they keep somehow screwing up everything he does. And it's not a great movie, but it's one I watched when I was younger. And I was just like, I always was like, that's the guy from Jurassic Park is like this bad guy in there. And he's been in like 1,000 things, but that's a real deep cut of a movie that I don't.
Okay, yep, I got him. Yep, I was thinking you were thinking like, someone else.
No. It's he's the one who's like, Grant's just like me. He's a digger, and then he finds the little mosquito. So
Miguel Sandoval.
Yeah,
is the
he's been in like
name.
a bunch of stuff. But
he's also worth 12 points. Let's see what Miguel Sandoval, because I wrote down he was in the TV series Sharp Objects and Clear and Present Danger, Alex, which I think.
Oh yeah, Sharp Objects. He's her boss in that.
Yes. So yeah, Miguel Sandoval. Okay, so let's get a rundown here. 24-34 for Nick. 18 for Hilary. 31 for Alex. So it's a very close game. Very close. Solid start. Nick, you get to come back on the way back here with your fourth pick for deep cuts.
All right. Oh man. I will use The Mist, and it's not gonna get a lot of points, but Andre Brower,
From Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
yes, one of the all-time great sitcom characters in Captain Holt. He's so funny. It's and he's also in the remake of the Poseidon Adventure movie. He plays the
one
ship
with
captain
Kevin
in that.
Dillon.
Is Kevin Dillon in that one?
He dies so early on in that movie.
Okay, yeah, because it's the one with Kurt Russell does the
And Emmy Rossum,
yeah,
I think is like
yeah.
the star.
And he's the captain in it, who's like, oh, we're gonna be fine if we just stay in here, and it's like, oh, well, you're not going to be, but
Andre Brower worth 4 points. Does he make it to the end of The Mist?
No, he is one of the people who halfway through is like, we're gonna get the group together and try to go through it. So I don't think you see him die, but you're like, oh, okay, he's gonna die.
He's dead. Okay.
Yeah.
So Andre Brower, 4 points. Hilary,
I knew he was gonna be worth much.
You've got something here. I can feel it.
No. I got nothing. I'm gonna go pretty mainstream on this next one because I don't want a 0. I want that 1 point. Can I have Laura Dern?
You can have Laura Dern from Jurassic Park. She's going to get you 3 points, Hilary.
Hey, that's not too bad.
Honestly, more than I thought. So like solid.
Same.
I mean, she could have been 2, but I just figure, there's she's kind of third build in this. So 3 points for Laura Dern. Alex, you get your 4th and your 5th deep cuts.
So, question for you, Jeff, which I feel like I've asked you before and I don't remember where we landed on it. If someone is one of the stars, but they are not a very famous person, is that a better guess?
Well, okay, let's like give me an example. Let's say you have a movie that's got Brad Pitt in it from like 1980. Let's say it's a Brad Pitt from 1991, and it's Brad Pitt, and he's also in it with a movie with some guy we've never heard of who never went on to do anything. Brad Pitt will be worth less points than the guy who never did anything else, if that helps you.
No, I want to know the opposite. The guy who's like, this is like the only thing that I'm in. If you know their name, is that going to be worth more points than somebody like 6th build, say?
I would imagine so. Okay. But I make these up as I go along.
I mean, that's very rules. You're the
There's
boss.
not like a formula that I can punch in. Like every week I kind of change my mind.
So here's what's going to be undoubtedly an 18-point guess, right? Sure. The girl who plays Lexi in Jurassic Park is in a movie you and I watched called Battle Dogs.
Oh, so is that the little girl?
Yes.
Yeah. Alex, you hit the daily double, you jackass.
Are you serious?
Damn it.
She's in Tremors. She's the little girl on the pogo stick.
Is she really?
God, that's
her
who you were
name's-
talking about. I'm like, who is in Tremors and Jurassic Park and or The Mist? That
Ariana
was
Richards
just
is
luck.
her name. So she's worth 12 points for Jurassic Park because obviously nobody knows her name.
Yeah.
And she's worth 10 points for Tremors because I don't know. I just figured so it's 22 points.
Can I get 2
Ariana
points
Richards.
if I bring up an episode of Boy Meets World she's in? That she did. Yeah, she plays like a friend of Sean's whose dad beats her up. Like, and she's staying at Sean's. Yeah, it's like one of those special episodes of like.
Gee, thanks, Nick, for bringing the show right down on me.
I was just trying to get the point. Maybe, because that's not where I thought you were going, Alex.
That's right. Alex and I watched
what I was waiting for. I'm like,
this terrible. Was it?
It's a sci-fi
asylum movie.
Yeah. That's it. It was Asylum. Yeah.
But it had a pretty good cast. It was like, was it Bill Duke and some other people in it? And you're like, oh, it's decent, except for it's terrible.
It was like a very poor man's Dog Soldiers, essentially.
Yes. Well, that's a great cut, Alex. Ariana Richards from Tremors as the girl on the pogo stick bouncing around, leading the Tremors to town, and as the granddaughter in Jurassic Park. So well done, Alex. What is your 5th deep cut then? Because now you've just ruined it for Hilary.
Yeah,
Hilary's like, I was going to close with Ariana Richards. This was going to be epic.
Why would I say that?
I mean, I'm not going to top a 22-point guess at all. No. So Fred Ward also in Tremors. I mean, he's
really?
Like 2nd build.
Really?
Yeah, but he's in nothing else. Maybe I get some points.
He's in other things. He's Remo Williams. And
don't say Remo Williams like people are like, I love that movie. I have a shirt about it. Like,
I'm literally gonna go get a Remo Williams shirt. If I have to make it myself, I will get it done. He is worth 2 points, Alex.
I figured, but that's fine.
Okay.
I'll take it.
That's solid though. That's a solid set of picks there. That's
That,
24
that's playing
points.
that's playing with house money right there because you hit
Yes.
that daily double. So it's like
That's true.
Yeah.
get
Just-
points.
But it's just like you couldn't think of someone else from like Jurassic Park that was like a little deeper down. Or...
I think I named
no.
them all.
Hilary got like she literally got
think
all
I
the
got
deep
one.
cuts I wrote for Jurassic Park.
All right,
and then
all
I've
right.
got like the stars also, but then she'll have nothing. So I'll take the stars of Tremors.
Okay, Hilary, what is your 5th deep cut?
Oh no, I was really hoping we were done.
Oh no, I just wanted to go to bed, eh?
I just want this to be over. No. You gotta have me back. I need some sort of revenge on this.
Perhaps
Yes.
Jaws the revenge.
Hilary.
Yeah, yeah.
Jaws 2, the revenge. That's me. Okay. Who's more obscure? Just for fun. Let's go Jeff Goldblum.
No, he's not more obscure than Hugh.
What?
Like you're questioning like
And Sam O'Neill. Sorry,
well,
Ned.
I mean there Jeff Goldblum's worth 1 point. He's 1 point.
It is what it is.
It's not a zero.
It's not a 0.
It's 100% more
Great.
points than a 0.
It's a good looking 1 point too with his
Yep.
shirt off. So I mean,
Yeah.
you get a
Alright.
glistening 1 point.
Nick, you get your 5th and then your final deep cut picks right here. So do you have anything left in the tank?
Okay, so let's stick with Jurassic Park. B.D. Wong, who then who's a nothing character in Jurassic Park, then becomes a very important character in Jurassic World, and was a Broadway star.
And he's in Nora from Queens, which he is
Mhm.
awesome in, and
Yes.
Mr. Robot.
Mr. Robot, which he's awesome.
See, I haven't watched
too.
Mr. Robot. That's
He's
on my
really
list.
good at Mr. Robot.
Yeah,
Yeah. So BD Wong for 8 points. So that's
Okay.
why I was like, oh, Alex, can you not think of any other person from Jurassic Park? So BD Wong for 8
okay.
points.
Well, let's stick with Jurassic Park, and let's go with Timmy, who is in Bohemian Rhapsody and plays the bass player.
I think he's Roger
Yeah.
Deacon from Queen.
Yeah.
He
from
was also
Queen. I
in
couldn't
the
believe that.
he was also in the Pacific, the kind of like the sequel to Band of Brothers. His name is Joseph Mazzello.
Zello. Yep.
Yeah, he was more of a child actor kind of thing. He did like something called like The Cure and stuff like that. So he's worth 10 points, kind of the same as Ariana Richards for her roles.
Very
Even
good.
though I would say he's more well known, the fact that he was in Bohemian Rhapsody and the Pacific, but 10 points. Solid cut. Hilary, you got your last one.
Oh, seriously?
Oh!
You know our contestants are having a good time when they're
I'm not having a good
consistently
time.
disappointed that they have more guesses.
Well, I know this is where we're at. When you only seen one movie out of 3.
Oh,
and, like,
you and Craig would love Tremors for sure.
I've seen it
Oh,
and it wasn't good.
No,
that's
it's not.
insane. No,
but-
Tremors is
yeah.
awesome. It's a classic. Get out of
Yeah.
here.
Okay, I already said it in my last one because I thought it was my last guess. It's
So you're going back to-
O'Neill.
It's just Sam Neill. It's not
Sam
O'Neill.
Neill, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's
Dr.
worth 2.
Dre.
He's not
the two-
Irish.
He's 2 points. Your Jeff Goldblum was
He's
1.
Australian,
Sam
isn't
Neill's the 2.
Mhm. Or
and,
New Zealand. One or the other.
Yeah, he's one of those two.
Yeah, and was he? Because he was in one of the Thor films where he plays.
The Odin. He's
Odin.
an actor playing Odin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alex, I don't know what the score is right now. It's pretty close, I think.
Not to me, but
So I think you need a little bit of points here.
I mean, it's not going to be a lot, but like Marsha Gay Harden for The Mist, she was like 3 points.
Marsha Gay Harden, yes, as the bitchy woman who
God,
like
she's so terrible. She's good
She's
in the movie.
awesome
Her
in that movie,
character
but
is
she's the
terrible.
worst.
Yeah, she's the worst.
she's
Mar-
the worst.
Marsha Gay Harden for 4 points. So it's points. It's points on the board, Alex. Let's see. Who did we miss here? Okay, so obviously nobody said Thomas Jane from The Mist because he would have been worth 1 point. Laurie Holden, also from The Walking Dead. So anytime Frank Darabont does something, he grabs kind of the same people. Toby Jones is in The Mist.
Oh, that's right. He
Also, another Frank Darabont guy is William Sadler, and that's kind of who I thought you might have been talking about, Nick. William Sadler's the guy who, when Shermanator gets torn apart, William Sadler's the guy who's like, "No, you can do it, kid. It'll be all right." you guys are probably all too young, but if anybody watched Cheers when they were a kid,
Yep.
Cliff's mom is in it from Cheers. She's like the old lady.
Oh, wow.
The kid from Dolphin Tale 2 is in the movie. And I'm just trying to think. Anyone else? Oh, Melissa McBride, also from The Walking Dead. Carol from The Walking Dead is in it. She's the lady at the beginning. Is nobody going to help a lady walk to her car? And everyone's like, no. And she goes out and immediately gets killed. Tremors. Michael Gross from Family Ties. The kid, the shitty kid that wants a gun. They don't want to give him a gun. His name is Bobby Jacoby. His brother is named Billy Jacoby. And funny enough, Nick, he was in the movie you were talking about, The Crew. He's in The Crew. This guy, he goes by the name Billy Jane. Alex, we saw him in the movie. What was that one with where the girl's pretending to be a boy?
She's the man?
She's the man.
What, did you guess Hilary?
Oh,
I said Hilary Swank.
that's
not
the
that
one. That's the Boys Don't Cry. That's
Boys Don't Cry. No, this is the
that's
one where she wants to be a reporter, so she goes back to school pretending to be a boy.
Oh, the 80s
Is that
movie.
Amanda
The
Bynes?
80s one, and her little brother
that's not
is
She's
just,
the Man. She's
No,
the man's
she's-
the
no,
soccer
yeah.
one with
Sorry,
Amanda
yeah.
Bynes.
What's it called? Yeah, what is it
Amanda
called?
The 80s one is called. Oh God, someone just talked about it on a.
If I click on this guy's name, it'll be
Working
his
Girl.
best known for.
No, not
It
Working Girl.
is just one of the guys.
Just one of the guys. Yeah, it's
And
a very.
he's like,
80s
you gotta have balls.
movie.
You gotta be a dude. Anyway, that's his brother. Is the kid in Tremors. He was in Can't Hardly Wait as one of like Seth Green's buddies. So that's the,
okay. I know
let's
it's
see.
now. Okay, I know what kid you're talking about, Matt. I didn't think he was in anything else.
nobody else really from Tremors. Jurassic Park. You got the big ones. B.D. Wong, Ariana Richards, Sandwich. Blah, 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 blah.
What was the lawyer worth?
I was just going to say.
Martin
Yeah.
Ferrero.
Yeah.
I had him down as 10 points. I didn't think anyone would really know his name. He's from Heat and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah, he's the
Bob
one who's like, I can't take this credit card when
Yeah,
it's all
that's-
burnt. Yeah.
And then Bob Peck is the hunter, but I couldn't honestly think of anything anyone would have seen with him in it. Oh yeah, I got to add up the points. Okay, Hilary, I'm going to add you up first because you just look like you want to leave. At this point.
I like being here. It's the points and the movies this show. It's
24
best
points, Hilary. 24 points. It's solid.
That's okay. We've had worse.
have we?
Alex, you had 31 at the halfway point, and you picked up 28 points in the second half.
It's okay.
So that puts you at 59. Nick had 34 points at the halfway point and picked up 22 to put him at 56. So, Alex, you have won
job, Alex.
again, 59
Whoa.
to 56.
That was
Man, I
close.
hate it when Alex
Yes.
wins. It's a lot easier to make fun of him when he's losing.
Alex, I thought you were going to take the brother for Jurassic Park. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll get the sister when she comes back around. And I was like,
But
of course, it's a daily
I
double.
couldn't remember anything the brother, like Tim, I couldn't remember
Yeah.
anything. And I kept getting distracted by his outfit. Because I'm like, he's an AI. I'm like, that's a different kid also wearing shorts. He's in Close Encounters.
wearing
Again,
shorts.
another kid in shorts. Like, it's
Also,
just,
way too early for him.
Yeah, I was gonna
yeah,
say-
like,
Like
by a
78. Yeah.
long shot.
And isn't AI Haley Joel Osment?
It is, yeah. No,
Okay.
it's famously a different person.
So Alex, so once again, you've won. So you could just suggest who would be our dream guest for a future show.
Yeah.
So this is someone you and I have discussed before, and I'm like, hold off, let's try and get more successful before we invite them, because there's like a 10% chance maybe we can get them. But like, let's get Devin Sawa, man. I would love to have him on the show. I feel like he'd
Nice.
crush it.
All right.
just
I
like
will
don't
tell you
make-
this, Alex. I did reach out to him on Instagram, and
Right.
I've not heard. It's weird. I haven't heard back from him.
Oh, really?
But I'll let him know that you suggested him as a guest.
Perfect. And then you have to
Devin
get
Sawa.
a Devin Sawa tattoo if he comes on.
I do. Oh my God, that's right. So Nick, that was part of the thing. Our friend Alan from Movies on the Way, when he won, he suggested you. So the deal has been, and it's never happened before, is that if the person does come on the show, I am supposed to get a small tattoo of their choosing. I don't have any tattoos currently, Nick. So this is a big deal for me. I won't put you on the spot, but if you can think of something that maybe reflects you and reflects your podcast or reflects what you're about, and you want to send me that idea, I will, there's like an 80% chance I will get that tattoo done.
I kind of want the whole intro that you gave my podcast in some type of small font on your arm.
That would be
Just
so painful.
When someone's like reading it, they're like, "Oh my god, this sounds so amazing." You're like, "Yeah." Funny thing about that was,
it was a bet that I made, and I had to get it.
It's an entire back piece done like the 10 Commandments.
Yeah,
that's how it's done.
That's how it's done.
All right. Well, maybe I'll take a line or two from it. No, not even that. Maybe it'll just be NICKFLIX. Maybe it'll just be NICKFLIX.
Or like a Netflix DVD. The old in the little sleeve.
But on the package, it'll say NICKFLIX. Just so if anyone ever sees it, they're like, "What's that?" You're like, "Oh, it's a podcast, actually."
Funny story, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is something I will look into doing now.
Don't feel like you have to. I don't.
No, but that was the deal, man. That was the deal. Hilary, you're about to go back to work soon because you're on mat leave. But other than that, what's going on in your world?
Just gearing up for Thanksgiving and trying to get that list of what Thanksgiving movies are out there to watch because I
so
can't
many,
name
Hilary.
one.
Like I said, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Great
That was
Thanksgiving
one.
movie. The Family Stone. Is
Home
not
for
bad.
the Holidays with Holly Hunter and
technically
Dylan McDermott.
Technically, The Big Chill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
The Big Chill. Yeah. There's some. They're good, Hilary.
All right.
And there's the new horror movie Thanksgiving.
Yes,
that's right.
Two of these I am going to talk about next week, but Thanksgiving I've watched and it's insane. That was all shot locally. That was all shot around Toronto.
Yeah. And I mean, the good thing with Thanksgiving movies, it can really just be any movie where like people are getting together and it's a little chilly. Like, just get something where people are wearing sweaters.
Exactly.
So This Is Where I Leave You, the Tina Fey funeral movie.
Yes, I mean, sure,
perfect.
Nick, where can people find you? Where can they find your podcast? Where can they find the things you're talking about?
Yes. So if you go on to, I still call it Twitter because X just sounds stupid. Yeah. So
that's okay. We say, fuck those guys. Yeah.
I know. Really. It's just like, it's Twitter. It's Twitter. You still call it a tweet. You don't call it an X. So it's like, all right. If you go on, NICKFLIX Pod is where I'm at. Also at N_Mear89 or sorry, M_Nick89 is my regular handle, but I'm always looking for new guests. It's just, we talk movies. I try to get them in, chunks of either a topics or themes that are the same, or like I have a Tim Burton episode I'm going to be dropping in another week or so. That's all just about him. So figured it was like a good time of year to drop something about Tim Burton, with it being October. But yeah, I'm a great first podcast if you ever wanted to go on one, because no pressure. When you joked about the 38 people who listen, I'm like, you got me by probably 8 to 10. So that's fine. My mom will listen and love it. And then people, friends and family. But Hilary, I might need you on, because apparently when you come on,
the numbers double.
The
number
Hilary's
on.
Double, yeah.
Well, I'll have some disappointed listeners this time around. That's for sure.
Yeah, she's not going to tell anybody about this episode because she didn't do great. So like, we're going to see a noticeable dip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're going to blame it on me. They're going to be like, we let Nick on, and all of a sudden everything's shot down.
I will say the favorite thing about, so on Spotify, you can see your rating, right? So when you go to it. So right now, for the longest time, we had a perfect 5, because I was pretty sure it was only people I knew personally were listening to it. So they were only giving it 5s. So right now we're at a 4.9. So to me, that means somebody, if it was somebody I do know, like a friend or family, first of all, fuck you for giving me less than 5.
Not a friend, nor a fan.
Not a real friend. And if it was you, I would like to hear from you, because we need to talk. But I'm actually a little more excited that maybe it's somebody I don't know personally. And they were like, it's good, because I did the math. At the very worst, they gave it a 3, but potentially a 4. And I'm like, that's fine. And if that was you and you're still listening, reach out. I'd love to know what you did or didn't like about the show. Thanks for listening, because I don't know you. And if I do know you, then also fuck you. So
turns out it was Craig Smeaton mad from the one time that he didn't win a round.
Yeah. Alex, are you going to tell people to support their local cinema, or what's going on with you?
Typically, but this week I want to mention a friend of ours has a one-man show coming up at the end of October.
A friend of ours.
Yes. And
that's right.
A book launch. It's called Sheer Blind Velocity. And it's playing at the Factory Theatre in Toronto on October 26th, which is Saturday at 9 p.m. So tickets are available. Check it out. Should be a good show.
I have tickets for that. It's very late for me.
It's late for Jeff.
9 o'clock downtown Toronto. Jeff's getting home at like midnight, and Jeff does not do well with those. So.
When he starts to put himself in third person, you know he's mad about it. I also have tickets to that, but it is also the night of all the Halloween parties that exist in the city. So I may or may not be there. And if I am, there's a 110% chance I'll be in costume because I have to go to like a second location after. But other than that, Jeff, no, I got nothing else to promote. Hilary, did you say everything you needed to say? I know we got immediately sidetracked on Thanksgiving movies.
And the show. No,
you're good? You're covered? All right. Just checking.
All right, Alex. So this is the time of the show where you send me an outro that you've written on my behalf, which I have never read before.
Correct.
And from what the instructions that you've given me prior to the recording of the show, I'm supposed to do it in a French accent, if possible.
No, if you could do your best, like Cajun or French.
God. Really?
That'll be fine. I want your best Louis Dupont de Lac. Like, I've written this very much in the style of Anne Rice, so felt thematically right. Anyway, it's long as hell. So just like read it slow, give it a nice little French zhuzh to it. Good luck.
Thanks, buddy.
So much silence off the top.
I mean, it hasn't come through yet, so I'm
Did
looking.
it not? I just said
Did you text or email?
Text. Like always. Like how it's always sent.
I know. I'm just saying it hasn't come through yet.
It is not different this week.
Maybe because it's so long that
it might be. It's like it's 5 text messages. Let me send it again.
And it's actually in French. So
I got it. Oh my God, this is so long. Okay. I would like to close our session this evening by thanking those brave enough to invite us, rather foolishly, into their homes. Thank you, Hilary, and thank you, Nick. The sacrifice of your time is greatly appreciated. And of course, congratulations to the winner, Alex. Alas, there is no prize. I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge my partner, Alexandre Delincourt. And thus, our tale concludes a tapestry woven of blood and passion, of darkness, of desire. May it echoes linger in your soul, a haunting melody that whispers of the eternal. Be sure to follow us, all shadows do, on the social media of your choosing. Until we meet again, kindred spirits, farewell. You know, it's not fair that you were all laughing at me while I did that. I didn't choose any of that.
You sound like French-Canadian Lumiere from Beauty and the Beast.
I was going to say the same thing. That was Lumiere. At the beginning, at the end, I don't know who you were.
It was like, I don't know.
Kind of went to Dos Equis guy at one point. It sounded like.
Listen, none of these are accents that I've ever said that I've had in my pocket that I could do. Okay, so you put me on the spot to do a Cajun French accent.
Yeah,
not something I would ever try. But
I applaud.
That was good.
Well, thank you everyone for playing, and reach out to us on socials and like, rate, and subscribe. We'll see you next week.